Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hey all, welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast on agriculture. The crop inputs companies in the country came off a tough period during 2022-23. Things have gone well for them in the 2024-25 fiscal, particularly during the rabi season. Indian farmers purchased a record 65.6 million tons of fertilizers in the 2024-25 fiscal, with the India Meteorological Department predicting a normal monsoon bias towards above normal rain. How will the agriculture sector shape up? How is it adapting to climate change and sustainability? What's the outlook for crop input farms in the current fiscal? To tell us all about this, we have with us Mr. Sanjiv Kanwar, MD, Yara South Asia. Welcome to Business Line State of the Economy podcast on agriculture, Mr. Sanjiv Kanwar. Mr. Sanjiv Kanwar, welcome to Business Line State of the Economy podcast on agriculture. Sir, we would first want to know how has the past fiscal been for crop input firms such as Yara?
Thank you so much for having me here on your podcast. When we talk about the previous fiscal year, I would say that it was challenging as well as rewarding for the simple reason that till July 2024, India faced serious challenges on the agriculture side due to a very long drawn-out drought. If you recall, we had a drought year in 2023, and actually, if we go even further back from September 2022 till July 2024, we did not really have significant rains, and we went through an El Nino event, and that is was putting a lot of pressure on the farm economy, on the farmers in trying to improve their productivity or at least maintain it due to lack of water. And when the farmers are having a challenge, then obviously it means all the organizations or the companies that are involved in this sector, they also get a pushback or they also face the challenges. So the first till July, from the period of September 2022 to July 2024, they were really very, very challenging times as the farmer demand for fertilizers and other agri input products dropped tremendously. Then from July 2024 onward, after the onset of the monsoons, that's when the demand started to pick up. So specifically in our case, I would say that till what we had done was as a matter of strategy, as a matter of our actions, being an extremely farmer-centric company, we maintained our focus on delivering our knowledge, our information, and our new generation products to the Indian farmer on a regular level. Just to give you an insight, we did almost about 35 to 36,000 farmer meetings. We did about 3,000 demonstrations with the farmers and kept an engagement level at a very high level, even through the digital space where we have a farm care app on which almost about 4 million farmers are connected with Yara, and we can deliver information right into the palms of the farmers. So we did that, and that helped us in, if not to grow our volumes, but it certainly helped prevent our volumes from dropping. We had a flat year until flat year in 2023, and we were kind of flattish till July 2024. But that was all due to the farmer-centric approach that we maintained, that we did not drop our volumes. We did not miss our connect with the farmers. Once the rains came in, the market, I would say, turned in our favor when the farmers rewarded my team and us with the business volumes, I would say that. And overall in 2024, we saw our business volumes grow by almost 22% over 2023. And we have to keep in mind that the major chunk of this growth came in the last 5 months of the year. That is from August to December, when the monsoons came in and the demand from the farmers was really very strong. So that is how it has been, and I think the same can be said for other players in the market. They would have also seen some growth coming in after the onset of the monsoons last year, up to July 2024. Yeah.
How do you
So
see the current fiscal shaping up? The IMD has forecast a normal monsoon, and there are other agencies also which are supporting this.
yeah, I think the frankly speaking, the monsoon we are despite having a fairly large acreages, I think about 10 to 12 million hectares of land are under fertigation, and also about 30 to 35 million hectares of land are under canal irrigation. We are largely a monsoon dependent agriculture economy. And this obviously is bringing monsoon prediction is obviously bringing a lot of cheer to the sector, to the farmers, to the channels, and also the place like Yara. We look towards the coming months with a lot of hope. And one thing I would like to mention here is that IMD has been quite spot on for the past 3, 4 years. I think they've really managed to give the right advice well in advance so that you can prepare your supply chain, you can prepare your engagement with the farmers at the right time, and there's an economy of scale that kicks in. And one thing I would also like to mention here is that the Indian farmers have also learned to manage water much better, especially in the fruits and vegetable sector. So, for example, right now, if we see there's a dry season on, but when we look at the fruits and vegetable availability in the market, it's still there. Last year also, I would say that April to June, we did not really see the fruits and vegetable market supplies kind of collapse. We always had what we needed to eat, and had sort of the farmers who took the right decision. They figured out that they have water available for 30 to 60 to 90 days, and then they planted the crops according to that. So there's a lot of hope that this will be the year when we will see further growth. And the first 4 months of the year have already demonstrated, at least for us, that there is a strong demand coming in from the fruits and vegetable segment. And we are seeing a very good growth for ourselves in our segment, in our company, at least for our non-subsidized products over the last year. We already see a very good growth at the moment, double-digit growth, if I may say that.
What changes are we witnessing in the Indian agriculture, particularly with regard to climate change, playing a big role?
I think the first step is that the farmer has started to adapt him or herself according to the climate change. For example, if you look at the last El Nino event that we have had, we have seen that the farmers are switching towards shorter duration crops. The shorter duration crops generally are the vegetable segment, which is again a repeat picking segment. So we and also needs less water. So we have when we engage with the farmers, we have discovered to our joy, if I would say that many of them now assess what is the amount of water available with them easily for the next 3 to 6 months, and then they plant their crops accordingly. And also, if you see, that's a time when the food inflation is at the highest. Quarter 2, let's say April to June, where that's a dry season, and that's a time when the food inflation is the highest, and that's a time when the food prices are high, the vegetable prices are high, and that's a time when the farmers get a much better return as compared to a normal productive part of the year. So that's one part. Second part is that with the increased literacy in India, we see that this generation of farmers are quite well educated, and a large number of them are actually agriculture graduates. And thank heavens for the number of, I think India is blessed now with almost 250 to 300 agriculture universities. So major chunk of farmers are also agriculture graduates, and they are now they've gone back to farming, and they are now becoming much more systematic in how to use the inputs and to get a better yield. And they're also the digitization has also helped in farmers to understand what the crop prices are. So they are able to take informed decisions. There are certain startups who are giving information to the farmers on soil, how to maintain soil health, on the weather forecasting. So the current generation of farmers is definitely in a position to take informed decisions basis information which potentially or possibly was not available to their predecessors. So we see this happening quite widespread. There's also a desire for the farmers to use less of resources and produce more, let's say more crop per drop. They have also started to understand that when they do that, They're able to protect their soil health for the future. Their resource use efficiency goes up, and there's also very healthy respect of biodiversity, which is demonstrated by the fact that we do see the farmers taking evasive preventive action before the onset of the diseases or onset of a pesticide. So this is something which the farmers are beginning to adapt themselves. It will take time, but I mean, of course, India has around 40 million farmers, so not every one of them is going to do that today, or is in that position today. But at least in the fruits and vegetable segment, we see that the farmers are much more advanced as compared to the commodity sector that we see. Yeah.
So, what has been the impact of sustainability and digitization on Indian agriculture?
The fact is that what we today see is the climate change is a reality. We have had four El Nino events in India in the last 15 years. And the last one was the most brutal, where we had temperature going up to about 50 degrees and we didn't have rain. So almost, as I mentioned earlier, for almost about 18 months. And this has certainly impacted the farmers. They're much more careful about sustainability. And when we engage with the farmers, we see that there is a desire and also there is a very serious attempt to go back to regenerative agriculture, which means preventing soil, protecting or improving soil health, ensuring that the nutrients and the inputs that they're putting in do not have a damaging impact on the soil. They're making an attempt to it, not very, I would say, not very successful at this point of time because maybe the latest technology, latest innovative products are not available to them at the moment. There is a very strong focus on improving the resource use efficiencies. So let's say, for example, just to give an idea, we introduced a product called ProCoat Zinc, which is a coating, which is zinc coating product, and that can be used on urea, especially when it comes for paddy at the initial stage. And we see that the farmers have understood that it's important to put zinc at the basal stage, and also improves to some extent the efficiency of urea application and urea releasing nitrogen. So the farmers are looking forward to such products or such techniques which can improve the nutrient use efficiency. So we do see that the farmers are moving also towards biostimulants, and which helps them in fight climate change to a large extent, reducing the stress or levels on the crop. And there is also a shift to a certain degree on towards organic fertilizers to improve the soil, using organic fertilizers currently to improve the soil health of the farms, so which will ultimately lead to better farm productivity. So this increase in the literacy rate in India over the last so many years is helping farmers also adapt towards the climate change challenges and move more in the direction of sustainability. And I think the industry is also now, the input industry specifically, is also now talking and doing a lot of training courses with the farmers when it comes to sustainability, be it a ag chem company or a seed company or a nutrition company. So there is a move towards sustainability now.
Sir, how is the crop inputs industry, particularly fertilizer companies, what is their role in aligning with India's climate change and soil health goals?
I think the starting point here is that we now need to talk more about a balanced crop program rather than a product. I mean, what I mean to say is that let's say when you're growing a crop, you need 13 nutrients, 16 nutrients. So we need to talk about when you engage with the farmers, we need to talk about using the right nutrient at the right stage, because that is what the crop needs, and that is also helps in improving the soil health. There's no point in putting excessive amount of urea. It's a known fact that there's too much of nitrogen that is going into the soil today. So as a nutrition company, we all need to talk about what to use at what stage, and also bring a very strong focus not only on the crop nutrition side, but also we should also increase the focus on the micronutrients, because the focus on the micronutrients is not as high as it should be or as it could be. And if you don't have enough, if you look at the soil structure in India, I think about 60-70% of the soils are deficient in zinc as well as boron. And then you have a varying degree of deficiencies of micronutrients of iron and magnesium and so on and so forth. So there has to be a very strong focus on the micronutrients from the crop nutrition companies. But end of the day, it is all about applying the right fertilizer at the right stage of the crop in the right dosage, so that prevents so that you can help the farmers prevent prevent the farmers from using excessive nutrients of any content. Let's say if you look at one data point which I will leave with you is when you look at the phosphate application in India, we are used against the requirement of 100 kgs, for example, we're using almost 130 kgs of phosphates. Almost 30% higher phosphate is being consumed in India, which is seriously getting fixed in the soil, and it's not really helping the soil pH. So that's the message which all of the entire crop nutrition companies have to pass on to the farmers.
Thank you very much for your insightful view, Mr. Kanwar. I hope the listeners would have benefited a lot. Until we meet in our next episode, bye.